We usually picture global trade as this massive automated machine, just like millions of steel boxes sliding seamlessly across the ocean.
Right, yeah. It's so easy to look at a massive 20,000 TEU cargo ship and just completely forget there are actually human beings keeping those engines running.
Exactly. It feels clean,
Yeah.
predictable, right? Well, until those shipping lanes intersect with an active conflict zone, then that whole automation illusion just shatters, and you're reminded that real people are navigating right through these geopolitical crosshairs.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're looking at today with this update from Sailor Today International Maritime Radio.
Right. The Director General of Shipping, the DGS, just released a crucial update regarding Indian seafarers caught in the middle of the current Middle East situation.
Hmm.
So, okay, let's unpack this. Because they are rolling out a response that tackles both the physical danger and the administrative nightmare of being stuck in a red zone.
Yeah, so the immediate physical side of the DGS response is, well, it's what you'd probably expect first. They've got a dedicated helpline, an email support system, and they've shifted to a 247 monitoring mode for ships in high-risk areas.
But wait, how does that 224/7 monitoring actually work in practice? Like, are they just watching dots on a screen?
No, no.
Because if a ship goes dark, what does a monitoring desk actually do?
Right. It's far more active than just watching an AI's tracker.
Mm.
It involves continuous coordination with regional maritime rescue centers, naval forces operating in the area.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and the ship's operators back on land. So if a vessel is approaching a known high-risk sector, this monitoring desk ensures there's a real-time communication protocol established.
Okay, so they aren't just sitting around waiting for a distress call.
Exactly. They are preemptively tracking the vessel's planned route against real-time intelligence on regional threats.
Okay, so there's a real tactical layer to the physical safety here. But I mean, if I'm stuck on a vessel in the Red Sea, dodging blockades or just waiting out a delay, I'm going to run into a completely different wall.
The paperwork wall.
Right, because eventually my certifications expire. A 247 helpline is vital for immediate danger, but what happens to your livelihood if you're stuck and your paperwork runs out?
Yeah, this is the invisible crisis. And it's exactly why the DGS issued Circular 17 of 2026. This grants an automatic 3-month extension on essential maritime certifications,
Which ones specifically?
specifically certificates of competency and STCW documents.
Let me push back here, though. A 3-month extension sounds like, I don't know, a bureaucratic Band-Aid.
How so?
Well, if a crew is trapped on the water, an extra 90 days of valid paperwork doesn't stop a drone. So how does this actually help them?
I mean, because if that paperwork lapses, the ship essentially becomes illegal to operate. What's fascinating here is the actual mechanics of those STCW documents, the standards of training, certification, and watchkeeping. Normally, renewing these isn't something you can just do with a quick Wi-Fi connection from the bridge.
Right, it requires actual physical logistics.
Exactly. It often requires shore leave. You need physical stamps from port authorities, and sometimes you even need to take in-person refresher courses.
Really?
Yeah, or pass medical exams at an approved facility on land. So if regional conflict prevents your ship from docking at its scheduled port or forces you into a weeks-long diversion,
Like going around an entire continent.
right, exactly, then you physically cannot renew those credentials.
So without those credentials, what happens? Does the shipping company just fire you while you're stranded at sea?
Essentially, yes. Or at the very least, you become completely unemployable the second you do step off the ship.
That's brutal.
It is. And on top of that, the vessel itself might violate its insurance policies by operating with a technically unqualified crew. So the DGS stepping in digitally to pause the expiration clocks is, well, it's fundamentally about employment continuity.
Making sure they don't lose their jobs just because of geography.
Precisely. It prevents this cascading legal failure where a seafarer survives a conflict zone only to find their career terminated because a war stopped them from getting a piece of paper stamped in port.
So it's really a dual approach. You can't just throw up a helpline and call it a day.
Right.
You have to protect the workers' economic survival right alongside their physical survival.
Absolutely. If we connect this to the bigger picture, true crisis response in modern supply chains means mitigating the legal and administrative fallout just as aggressively as those immediate physical threats.
So what does this all mean for you listening? It proves that true crisis response requires fixing both the physical dangers and the invisible bureaucratic hurdles. Navigating a crisis zone isn't just about steering the ship away from danger.
Yeah, it's about navigating the massive web of international compliance that dictates whether you still have a livelihood when you finally reach a safe harbor.
Right. But, this is me thinking about the broader system. If navigating a high-risk region requires authorities to literally pause the expiration clocks on basic regulatory requirements
Yeah.
just to keep vessels moving,
Yeah.
are international maritime laws built for a world that no longer exists?
Yes.
If the entire system breaks down the minute a crew can't physically dock to stamp a certificate, maybe it isn't just the supply chains that are fragile. Maybe the daily paperwork that actually keeps the global shipping industry afloat is the most fragile part of all.